So we've got reporting from the Washington Post this morning about these Venezuelan boat strikes. And at least as it relates to the very first one that took place a few months ago, the order was given by Pete Hegseth to start doing this, to start attacking these small, populated Venezuelan boats off the coast of Venezuela in international waters. And we also learned today that he gave that order to SEAL Team 6 to carry out this attack. And that they did. And at least as it relates to the first of these attacks, two of the men who were on this boat survived and were clinging to the wreckage of the boat and trying to stay afloat. And so apparently Pete Hegseth gave a follow-up order to leave no survivors, to kill everyone on board, which SEAL Team 6 did. I had always associated SEAL Team 6 with, like, the Osama bin Laden raid. I don't know that much about the military. I've never served. Like boots on the ground, close combat, get in, get out kind of mission, dropped off, picked up by helicopters, but, close quarters combat sort of thing. I've never associated SEAL Team 6 with attacks from the air or the sea or drones or things like that. So, we're learning new things every day. But we're learning a lot about at least this very first attack that took place. And since then, the number of attacks that we've done, number in the 20s, the number of people that we have killed, number in the 80s, and not one of them, including those two men who were killed, who were murdered by SEAL Team 6 and Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, not one of them before these attacks has been identified by name. Not one of them has been adjudicated or credibly accused using documentary evidence, video, audio recording evidence. Not one of them has been credibly accused of being a gang member, a cartel member, a drug smuggler. Nothing that has come out. None of these men have been identified after they've been killed. And none of the cargo that they allegedly had on any of these small boats has been paraded before the media as evidence of drugs on board these boats. But this reporting that we're getting today, first of all, it's being reported by the Washington Post, which is not currently a member of the Pentagon press corps, after Pete Hegseth put in his restrictions that he demanded members of the media agree to in order to continue having access to the Pentagon. And not one single respectable media organization actually did agree to. And so there are people in the Pentagon and in the military who are talking to the press without the authorization of Pete Hegseth, as they should be. But we now know that, at least as it relates to this first attack, that Pete Hegseth gave the order to SEAL Team 6 to attack this first boat, which they did, and then Pete Hegseth gave a subsequent order to kill all survivors, which SEAL Team 6 carried out. There has been no evidence put forth by the government that any of these people killed were anything other than innocent Venezuelan civilian fishermen. None. None of them have been identified. None of them have been identified and tied to a gang or a cartel. And so when these 6 Democratic members of the House and the Senate last week put out that PSA video reminding active duty members of the military and intelligence communities of their oath to the Constitution, and that they are bound to obey the law in the form of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which requires of them to disobey illegal orders, These are the kinds of orders that they were talking about. And these extrajudicial killings, which is a fancy term for murder, are also so concerning to our allies that the UK, with whom the United States for 80 years has had a special relationship, a very close relationship, including in the intelligence arena, the UK stopped sharing intelligence with us in this region in the world because we're murdering innocent people, and the UK doesn't want to be a part of that. Those are the kinds of illegal orders that these Democratic members of the House and Senate were talking about. And so Donald Trump said that they were guilty of sedition and treason and should be hanged. But the left is the party of violence and violent rhetoric. You know, and now these 6 members of the House and the Senate, Democrats, are getting death threats, no doubt, from the people who 2 months ago were trying to get people fired from their jobs for saying mean things about Charlie Kirk and his assassination. Fortunately, Donald Trump's grip on his base is lessening because so many of them are being so negatively affected by the financial consequences of Donald Trump's policies as it relates to the economy and tariffs and things like that. Another segment of his base is becoming less loyal to him or turning on him because of how he's handled the Epstein files. And there were supposed to be waves of arrests of Democrats and Hollywood lefties and billionaire Democratic donors once Donald Trump was inaugurated, and put Pam Bondi in charge of the DOJ and put 2 podcasters, Kash Patel and Dan Bongina, in charge of the FBI. The only thing they've managed to do with the DOJ and the FBI is completely hollow out those organizations to the point where the FBI is now taking agents who are working on child sex trafficking investigations and reassigning those agents to work on immigration. So this administration is actually lessening its enforcement capabilities against child sex trafficking rings. Irony is dead. But these are the kinds of illegal orders that these members of the House and Senate were talking about. Exactly these kinds of illegal orders. And Donald Trump is giving them now. And Pete Hegseth is giving them now. And SEAL Team 6, at least, is carrying them out. So to the members of SEAL Team 6, the only person in the entirety of the executive branch, including you, who has immunity from criminal prosecution after Trump leaves office, is Trump, not you. You do not have immunity from murder charges after Trump leaves office. So good luck with that.